Okay, so today we're going to talk about box and whiskers plots. You've seen them probably before, middle school. So we've got some key information we need here. Now, the lower extreme is important. It's our lowest number. Our upper extreme is important. It's also our greatest number. So we have the lower extreme and the upper extreme. The next thing we need to talk about is the lower quartile, but it's also sometimes called the first quartile. It is the median of the lower half of your data. Now remember, median is just the middle number. So what you're doing is you're taking the bottom half of your data, so from the middle number to the smallest number, and you're finding the median of that data. And that's your lower quartile. And just like lower quartile, we have upper quartile. Your upper quartile is also known as your third quartile, and it is the median of the upper half of your data. So you take from the median over all of your data to your upper extreme, and you find the median between those two numbers. And then next is the median, and the median is the same thing as before, but I only want to point out that it's also sometimes called the second quartile. And then you also have what's called the interquartile range. Now, to find your interquartile range, all you do is you take your upper quartile and you subtract your lower quartile from it. So we can use your calculator to find all this data for us. So you're going to put your data in L1. So go to Stat, Edit, and put it into L1. You don't need an L2 in this case. After you put your data in, press Stat, go over to the Calc menu, and you're going to select one var statistics. It means one variable statistics. So it's going to print out a bunch of stuff on your screen. But here's what you need for your box and whiskers plots. Your min x is your lower extreme. Your Q1, that's your lower quartile or your first quartile. The median is the median. The MED is the median. Q3 is the upper quartile or the third quartile. And max x is your upper extreme. Now, the only thing it doesn't tell you is your interquartile range. You must find that by hand, which is not hard. You just pick those two numbers out and you subtract them. So let's do an example. It says, create a box and whiskers for the following data. So first thing you need to do is go to Stat, Edit, and you're going to type in this data. So type this data in now and find the 5 numbers that we need from the printout from Stat, Calc, one variable stats. So here's what the calculator gives you for your information here. So in order to make your box and whiskers plot, we're going to need a number line. So your number line, your smallest value is 3.9 and your biggest value is 5.1. So let's create a number line that has this information on it. We're going to need some marks in between our whole numbers because most of the numbers that we're dealing with are decimals. So let's create a number line now. Okay, so here's our number line. I've got the smallest number, 3.8, and our smallest value that we're dealing with is 3.9. And I've got our biggest number up here is 5.2, and our biggest value that we're dealing with in our box and whiskers is 5.1. So for your mins and your maxes, you're going to find them. So we're looking for 3.9. 3.9 is right here. We're going to go above it, and we're going to create a point. And our biggest value is 5.1, so we're going to go above 5.1 and make a point also. Now we want these to kind of be level. There we go. So now we need to find our Q1, so our lower quartile, which is 4.3. And above 4.3, we're going to create a line. And then also above our median, which is 4.4, we're going to create a line. And also above our quartile 3, our upper quartile, above 4.75. So 4.75 is halfway between 4.7 and 4.8. We're going to make another line. So this right here creates our box for our box and whiskers. And we're going to connect them to the points. So here's our box and whiskers plot for this data. Now I want to discuss a couple of things about your box and whiskers plots. Now between these two numbers is 100% of your data. Now between here and here is 25%. between here and here is 25%. Between here and here is also 25%. And between here and here is 25%. So it breaks your data up into like 4 different pieces. So between your min and your first quartile or your lower quartile is 25% of your data. Between your lower quartile and your median is 25% of your data. Between your median and your upper quartile is 25% of your data. And between your upper quartile and your upper extreme is 25% of your data. Now, the only thing that we didn't find from the calculator is we need to find our interquartile range. So in order to find that, we're going to take our Q3, which is 4.75, and we're going to subtract from it 4.3. And we get 0.45. Now, for your in-class classwork, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get a partner, and you're going to think of a survey question. Now, your survey question needs to be something that has an answer to it that is numbers. And also, you're going to survey your classmates. So you're going to walk around the room with your partner, and you're going to survey your classmates. Make sure you do this in an appropriate manner, and don't get off topic. So you're going to find all of your data. Then you're going to create a box and whiskers plot for your data. Now, you need to have a title for your box and whiskers plot. You need to have your box and whiskers plot, and you need to have all your data listed.